How you going, guys? Jeremy Gard here. I wanted to make a quick video this morning. I'm just going through my vision, I guess, for the year 2016 and beyond, and for the next actually 5 and even 10 years henceforward. And I do this kind of around the beginning of each year. I get away from the New Year's syndrome, where everybody's scrambling to kind of set goals for themselves in the New Year's Eve and 1st of July, and sort of the 1st of January, I should say. I kind of wait for a few weeks so I can sort of settle into the new year and really sort of start to plan out the year ahead. And that's what I'm doing now. So I thought I'd share with you a little bit about my vision for the coming months and years ahead, and in the hopes that perhaps it might resonate with you, and you may have a similar vision yourself, or you may be thinking about certain things but not quite sure how to get started with them, how to implement them. So I thought by sharing my story, my vision, it might either inspire you to do something about it, number one, or perhaps just get some clarity on your own vision. I think a lot of people in business, especially in home business and running your own enterprise of any kind, is that the reason people fail or don't succeed at the level they want to succeed at is because they don't really have a clear set vision, clear set of goals with dates on them. And you've all heard this before, right? You know, everybody knows, yes, you're meant to write goals, yes, you're supposed to write them down and put a stamp on them, put a date when they're going to be achieved by, all these sorts of things, and then set out an action plan to make the achievement come about. But how many of us actually take the time out to do it? We're always so busy with life and working for a living and paying the bills and just everyday life, you know, things like the kids need to be entertained, the kids need to be taken care of if you've got kids, or if you're a single person, you know, you've got things going on in your life. Maybe you're in relationships and they have demand your attention. It's important that you take some time out. I do it I do a major session like this, a planning session, probably once every 3 months or so, every 90 days. I work in 90-day cycles, and I set out the next 90 days. Now, I also then review my progress on a weekly basis. And on a daily basis, I'm also constantly working out my action steps and working out, am I getting closer or further away from my actual intended outcomes. So there's a whole planning process that goes involved with it, and it's a little bit of time management, obviously. There's some science behind it, but it's managing time with a purpose. The purpose is, obviously, you have to have a bigger vision. So managing our life and managing our time, which, let's face it, is the same thing. Your time is your life. Then you can't manage your life without knowing where it is you want to be going in the future. So that's really what this is all about. And as I said, I thought I'd just make this more of a personal style video, and I thought here I am in my sort of what I call my home office here on the Gold Coast, and I've been going through a bit of planning. I'm taking some time out today to refocus where I'm going over the next 12 months. And then every quarter, every next 90 days, I'm going to be checking in with that and sort of chunking down the 12-month goal into 4 little signposts, as it were, and going through that and making sure I'm on track. So, I guess to start off with my what I call my ultimate vision for my life, and I'm taking a lot of this from the Tony Robbins Time of Your Life course. So I've done it program many times. I think it's so inspirational. If you haven't got a copy of it, I highly recommend getting it if you can. It's very inexpensive. It's about $350 US or something like that on his website. You get a nice binder and everything like that with it, which I find a little bit old school, but it's also the hand. I find writing things down like that, there's a real connection with when you have to write something down, it becomes more real. And using a pen to write something down, God forbid, using a pen. The lost art of writing, right? But I'm doing it with the software at the moment. I've got the RPM software and the RPM Life Planner. And it's the same thing as the binder, just put it in electronic format. And then what I do is then transport it over to the binder, and I keep those in front of me on a daily basis. So whenever I open up my binder, there are my goals and my vision, my outcomes, all set out ready for me to go. Now, he does obviously then, in the course, you structure it into what he calls categories of improvement. It's really looking at your life as a whole and breaking it up into different categories, different sections of your life. Grouped broadly into 2 categories, your personal and your professional life. And, you want to set out your different categories within those two different groups. So I'm not going to go through that now, and tell you about every single category that I've got, but I'll share with you my ultimate vision. And that is that I've got a vision for, mainly for on like a personal vision, if you like, for our family and where I want to take our family unit and what the kind of culture that I want to build within our family unit. I'm what I call an agent of change within my family, and so are you. If you have a family or you have people around you that care about you, then you have a responsibility, I suppose, to create a lifestyle around you that supports everybody around you as well. So I'm in the process of doing that, and one of the things that I've sort of stated here is that we want to, I'll read it out to you. So to live freely and openly without concern for financial lack. So financial abundance and financial prosperity is very high on my list, as it probably is for you. For a lot of people looking at this type of blog, or looking at home-based businesses and things like that, and doing some coaching, then financial prosperity is a must for most people, for any sort of entrepreneur. So financial abundance is what I'm aiming for. And abundance, in my definition, is basically having everything that all my needs and desires and goals taken care of without me having to actually work for it. The money comes in regardless of whether I get up and work my business or not. True passive income. Now, this is a lofty goal for a lot of people, and not many people really think that it can be achieved. I'm of the belief that yes, it can be achieved, because I've seen proof of it over and over and over again. And so I've written here to live freely and openly without concern for financial lack. So within our family, this basically means that we can do there's an element of flexibility built within that. We can do what we want, which might be we want to take off and go to Hawaii next month. So sure, there's a little bit of planning, you have to book the tickets and that sort of stuff, but without the worry about having, can we afford the tickets, are we going to be able to pay our bills while we're away, blah, 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 blah. Having the disregard for worrying about finances and if we're going to be able to survive by taking this trip. I also said here, we live, and I made it in the present tense. That's always a good idea when you're writing down your vision or your goals. A vision statement is a bit grander. It's a bit sort of the overarching way, the feeling of what you want your life to sort of feel like and look like from an outsider's point of view, but the actual goals themselves might be a little signpost to get to that point. So we live in a tropical paradise island home with my wife and my family around me. And our home is a large 5-bedroom luxury villa with beautiful landscape gardens and the ocean at our doorstep. And we have staff on hand to take care of the cleaning and the everyday maintenance of the property. And this enables us to focus our energies on living a free and prosperous life and pursuing more productive personal growth activities. Now, what I'm saying there is basically that we want to set ourselves up in a luxury villa on the island of Bali and have all the sort of day-to-day sort of stuff that really, at the moment, to be honest, is actually taking me away from my time that I could be more productive in. So things like washing the dishes, cleaning the house, doing the laundry, blah, blah, blah. All these sorts of things can be taken care of by somebody else. I'm not saying I want to be lazy and I want to not neglect my duties. I'm saying that there's some certain things in your life that are probably the most least important in your terms of your personal growth and your prosperity and achieving the abundance that you want in your life, that could be taken care of by somebody else if you figure out a way to actually do it. Now, if you don't have a lot of money to spend on staff and people that can do all these things, or a personal assistant, for example, then try to think of ways that you can actually swap some of the skills that you have in exchange for those services. So, for example, I was sort of thinking about, I could, I don't know, it might work in Bali as well as it does over here, because perhaps they have a different mindset over there, slightly different way of thinking in terms of the Balinese people, that is. But I could exchange with somebody the strategies and the methods and help them, guide them, coach them one-on-one to getting themselves set up with an online income stream. That is one of the skills that I've been able to foster and I've been able to accumulate over a period of time. And I can do it. I've got it down to a very fine system that I can actually utilise now. And whenever I need extra money, we just put this system into work once again, and we just ramp it up, ramp it up, ramp it up. And, we're fine again. But it's been stop and start, stop and start. So I'm sort of also working on a plan right now to actually level it out. And so we're on this gradual pathway where our prosperity and our financial abundance is actually on an increase without us having to put in more effort. It's the old concept of getting the leverage and doing the work once and not have to keep doing it. It's it's, I suppose, a concept of never-ending improvement, but it's also a concept of what am I trying to say here? It's more of a I don't know what I'm trying to say there. So I've lost my train of thought, but it's you know what I'm trying to say. It's like a gradual improvement. Things are always improving without us actually having to be there. It becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy in itself. It becomes self-perpetuating. That's what I'm trying to say. Self-perpetuating growth in our financial abundance. So that's one of the things that I'm trying to aim for, and putting it in terms of actual action steps. Then this might be something like, setting up a funnel or an income system, a business model, a business system that actually perpetuates itself, and it becomes to a point where there's nothing I can do to actually slow it down or stop it. And I guess that's also the business that we're involved with right now. It does have that element now that I look at it, and I've looked at that, and that's definitely something I want, and it's something that we already have in our hands right now. So it's just a matter of leveraging yourself, getting the balls rolling. It does take a bit of your energy and your input in the beginning, but it'll start to perpetuate, and the momentum will take over, and after a certain point in time, the business will start to run itself, and you will start to receive those extra income that you need, and you've wanted all this time that you've been working towards, and it'll just come in and it'll keep on growing without you having to do much. Now, I've gone on to say here we have a home base in Bali, and we also keep a home in Australia. I put Sydney because I have a family's in Sydney, but we have a home here on the Gold Coast, and we spend our time between each of these places on a regular basis. So probably 6 months of the year over in Bali, 6 months of the year in Australia, and also maybe 2 or 3 months of the year travelling to other countries as well. We're definitely much a family-oriented business. We run our business, I should say, around our family, and it's a lifestyle thing. So we want to be able to take our business on the road as we need to. So it's a very flexible business model that we work with at the moment. And again, I'm not here to promote the business model. Please hear me. This is just a kind of a vision workshop, if you like, or a bit of a video about our vision. And it just so happens that we run a business that allows for all these things. So if you resonate with the kind of vision I'm talking about, then let's have a chat about the business idea. But again, that's a topic for another day. Now, the purpose behind this is also very important when you state your vision and you set up a goal for yourself, that you want to imbue it with some sort of purpose. So purpose is the why. It's the reason you're doing it in the first place. So it's all very well to have a goal and you've written out this positive statement or an affirmation of some kind, but you also want to have some purpose behind it. So that's the P in RPM, actually. That's what Anthony Robbins talks about. It's results, purpose, and then M is your massive action plan. So it's a results-oriented, purpose-driven, massive action plan, or something along those lines. I think that's the way he puts it. So your purpose is your why. So for us, it's in order to really live the highest quality of life, then I need to be financially free and running my own life. My life is my business. They can't be separated in any way. I am my own business. I run my life like a business. Run my life like, I've got inputs and I've got expenditures and I've got incomes coming in, and it goes with my relationships as well. When I'm building up a relationship, or if I feel like a certain part of my family life has been neglected, for example, my relationship with my daughter or my relationship with my wife or so forth, then I need to make some deposits there. Stephen Covey in his book 7 Habits of Highly Effective Families always talks about your emotional bank account. And making deposits in that bank account on a regular basis. And that might be things like spending quality time with my daughter, or spending quality time with my wife, setting some time aside on a daily basis that we can really talk about things that are on her mind, things that are on my issues, and add an element of flair to it, some romance, go out on secret dates and make it fun, make it spontaneous. So these are the sort of things that I try to imbue into our relationship. But sometimes, the whole time I get caught up in other areas of my life, in my working online business type of thing, and I'm doing webinars and I'm running coaching sessions and that sort of thing with people, and I often neglect that. So sometimes I need to then make some more deposits in that bank account, and at some point in time, because I've made those deposits in the past, then when tough times do come up in the future, she's more than likely to then to say, look, that's fine, honey, it's important to you go off and do that. If you need to do that, then we understand. And it's because if I hadn't made those deposits up front in the first place, then I'd be at a deficit. she'd be at wit's end, probably saying things like, look, you're always on the computer, blah, 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 blah. You never have any time for us. I'm taking our daughter off for the weekend and we're going away. That's an extreme one. She wouldn't leave, obviously, but I'm just saying that it would be a lot worse if you hadn't made those deposits up front. So that's what I'm saying. I want to keep the balance in my relationship, which is very important to me. It's probably at the top of my list there, that we keep a healthy balance there as well. And I think you get where I'm going with that. So for my family to have the greatest opportunity in their life and for them to excel in whatever they want to do, then we need to be mobile and free to make money from wherever we are in the world. Again, this business model we work with lends itself to that. The freedom lifestyle is necessary to make all our dreams come true. Income streams need to be independent of any physical location that I may be in. With the power and the freedom of the internet, I can live and work from anywhere in the world with an internet connection. And again, I guess I need to refine that a little bit. It's not really an emotional purpose, but the emotion behind it is more so that you get to the point, and I've passed this now, but it was a few years back where I was sort of at a point where I'm so sick and tired of struggling. I'm so sick and tired, God, of just paying the bills, just keeping our head above water. And I'm tired of just surviving. I want to start thriving. And that's what it came down to. And you might be in the same sort of situation where you're constantly just paying bills, you're really never keeping any for yourself, let alone saving money. They say you save 10%, right? How can you save 10% when you're paying out more than you're getting in? That sort of situation was in my life for such a long time, with the amount of debt that I'd taken on, and personal debt that is. And it was just a constant source of stress in my life for it. So that had to change. We're still in the process of paying down a lot of that debt, but we're in a much better position now than we were previously. And I'm not saying I've got all the answers here. I'm just saying that was one of the major stress points in my life that I've now addressing, and I'm changing. So that's probably the main reason as well that I want to sort of master this thing called financial success, is because I don't want to be in that position of struggle anymore. And because I was in that position of struggle, I couldn't see the forest for the trees. I couldn't see beyond where I was financially, because I had all this stuff in front of me that I had to get through, the barriers of financial lack and financial debt, and all these, getting strange phone calls in the middle of the night where there's debt collectors on my case trying to get me to pay up more money that I didn't even have. So, and this was then affecting my relationship with my family, with my wife, and all these sorts of things. It becomes a snowball effect. So I just sort of drew a line in the sand one day and said, that's enough. I'm tired of it. I'm not having it anymore. This has got to change, and it's got to change it now. And I've took steps to right it, and hence why I went searching. And I've now come across this particular business that we're running, and it hasn't been an easy journey. I had to get myself out of that position in order to pay for some of the products and pay for some of the training that I had to go through. I had to relearn or unlearn what I already knew and refocus my concentration on a different strategy a little bit, because obviously the strategy that I was using wasn't working because it had gotten me to that point. So my best thoughts, my best thinking had gotten me to this point where I was struggling financially and so much debt that I couldn't see, my head was below water, that I needed help. I needed someone to basically show me the path out of there. And I followed that, and I grabbed onto it like a starving man who was, hanging for just a cracker or anything that would just give him the exit. And that's what I've discovered. So the action plan, that's the purpose. The purpose is to live a free and abundant lifestyle, because that's important to me. I never want to go back to that stage in my life where I was struggling. And again, it's not all about money. You can be happy and not have a lot of money, but when the money consumes you like that, then it becomes your life. It becomes your whole identity. And it affects your emotional level. It's very hard to I hate to be so shallow about it, and now that I'm hearing myself talking about it, it's not the be-all and end-all. You can still live a very happy life and not have a lot of money. I'm not saying money is the be-all and end-all. Definitely my spiritual connection. I try to meditate on a daily basis and visualize where I want it to be in the future all throughout that time. And sometimes there's a delay between what you're putting out there into the universe and you're visualizing and what's coming back. But also you want to make sure your visualizations are pure and your meditation is pure, and not cogged down to, I want this, I want that, and I want it now. Because the universe has its own mechanisms and ways of delivering what you want to you in its own time frame. So you can't sort of rush things along. It's like planting a seed in the ground and then always picking up the plant to see if the roots grown yet, and then you've killed the plant, by looking. So you can't judge the timing of when it's going to be delivered. Finally, and I'll wrap this up, is the massive action plan. So the massive action plan for me has been getting down to a routine. I suppose that is the key step, the key thing here, is having a daily routine that's going to and start to form some habits, some new habits in my life. So one of the first habits that I started was daily exercise, for example. I exercise nearly every day. I'd say I've cut back in the last sort of 18 months or so, to be honest, because we moved and I've got a baby and that sort of thing. I've found it, to be honest, a little bit of a struggle. However, every second day, sometimes every day, every other day, I do some form of exercise, whether it's jogging on the beach or it's some sort of weightlifting or do what have you. And I feel pretty good about it. So that also, the endorphins of exercise and bringing out your positivity, and I'm listening to audios as I'm exercising, so the personal development side of it's there as well, combining two activities into one. That's been a big benefit to me, is getting the mindset right of a business owner, of an entrepreneur. So that's one of the things I've been doing. Another part of the daily steps that I've been doing is blogging. Blogging on a daily basis about my vision, about my lifestyle, blogging, trying to put blog posts out there that help people. And again, this is part of the business side of things, but it's part of my daily habit as well. And it's a discipline that I kind of I put in place in my life. So they're sort of the action steps that I do on a daily basis. They have a purpose behind them. The purpose behind blogging is obviously to put it out there, my message in the universe, work on my communication skills as well, make videos like this, and also, to bring people back that are attracted to that particular type of message, that may want to lock arms with us and join us on this journey as well. And so the more people I surround myself with that resonate with this type of message, that's building me up as well. It's like we're forming a team here of really powerful entrepreneurs. When they first come in, they may not think they're powerful, but they're ready for a change. So they get exposed to some of the things that we're doing and some of the concepts that we're talking about, and that helps them improve their life. That juices me. That helps me, lifts me up as well when I see other people succeeding. So being of service and being proactive on a daily basis and putting out some good quality content and connecting with my audience on a daily basis, that has really helped me. And it's been one of those things that I get, again, just has to become a habit. And that's the business we run, and that's why I love it so much, is because we get a chance on a daily basis to help other people and be of service in some way. Other things that we're doing, so that the plan then moves on outwards. So these are the daily things that we do on a weekly basis. I sit down with my life